Okay, let's be honest. Health advice, it's a lot. It's confusing, it's noisy, and it's really easy to just get completely lost. So what we're going to do here is cut right through all of that. We're going to give you a simple, powerful blueprint for lifelong health, broken down into 4 pillars that, honestly, you can start building on today.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to build what I like to call a temple of health. We'll start with the foundation, which is all about everyday movement. Then we'll build up the framework with some smart, strategic training. After that, we'll take care of the inner sanctum, your mind and social life. And finally, we'll put a guardian in place with proactive healthcare.
All right, Pillar 1, the foundation. This is so important. It's all about making movement a totally natural part of your life. We're not talking about something you have to force yourself to do or schedule. We want it to just happen, you know? The goal is to make it as easy and, as enjoyable as breathing.
And here's the big mindset shift, the real secret sauce. You have to stop thinking of exercise as this chore, right? This punishment you have to endure. Instead, the whole idea is to find activities you genuinely love to do. When you do that, fitness isn't the goal anymore. It just becomes this awesome byproduct of having fun.
And look how simple this can be. Seriously, we're not talking about running a marathon here. It's stuff like gardening, biking with the family, or even just taking the stairs instead of the elevator. These things feel almost invisible, right? They're tiny choices. But when you make them day after day, they compound. And over time, that adds up to some seriously massive health benefits.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it can be as simple as a good brisk walk. If you can get out there and hit a pace of about 3 to 4 miles per hour for, say, 30 to 60 minutes, maybe 5 days a week, you've just hit an amazing baseline for your cardiovascular health. It's really, truly that accessible for almost everyone.
Okay, so we've laid the foundation with all that daily movement. Now it's time to build the framework on top of it. This is where we get into Pillar 2, strategic training. This is all about building real, lasting strength and resilience.
You know, probably the biggest mistake people make with training is just getting stuck in a rut, doing the same thing over and over. Your body is just way too smart for that. It adapts super fast. And that's where this idea of periodization comes in. It's just a fancy word for mixing things up. By changing your training on purpose, you keep your body guessing, and that is how you bust through plateaus and get the best results.
And this is such a perfect example of why there's no one-size-fits-all plan. If you're an older athlete, maybe you're doing higher reps with lower weight to keep your joints happy. If you're a beginner, maybe you're starting with machines to get the form right. See, the goal is always the same. Find what works best for your body in this season of your life.
So what does a great week look like? Well, here's a really solid, balanced approach. You've got your resistance training for strength, a few HIIT sessions for that awesome metabolic kick, and then your sustainable cardio. And I really want you to notice that last point. Walking. Yeah, walking. For so many of us, it's way more sustainable long-term than running. And what you can stick with is always, always the better choice.
Okay, so having a strong body is awesome, but it's really only half the battle. True, deep well-being, that requires a healthy inner world too. And that brings us to Pillar 3, the inner sanctum, strengthening your mind and your social connections.
I love this quote. Laughter is inner jogging. It's perfect, right? It totally captures this idea that joy and connection, they're not just fuzzy feelings. They are actual physical events in your body that have real, tangible benefits.
And the science totally backs this up. When you have a good, hearty laugh, you're literally increasing your oxygen uptake, boosting blood flow, and maybe even more important, staying socially connected is one of the best things you can do to fight off cognitive decline. It is just absolutely crucial for your long-term brain health.
So there you have it. We've built our 4 pillars: movement, training, mind and social fitness, and proactive healthcare. It's a solid structure, but the big question remains, how do you actually live in this temple? How do you make all this a joyful, sustainable part of your real life?
You got to think of your brain just like any other muscle in your body. You really have to use it or you'll lose it. That means you've got to challenge it, learn something new, play games that make you think, and of course, you have to let it recover. That means getting 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep and staying hydrated. It's all connected.
Well, it all comes down to what's called the Goldilocks rule. You have to find what is just right for you. Look, if you hate running, don't try to force yourself to run marathons. If you love hiking, then hike. It's that simple. Because the best, most effective health plan in the world is the one you actually enjoy doing. That's the one you'll stick with for life.